Hello, this is Jer playing Oxygen Not Included. Get the pack snacks update in my base. Just want to apologize for the video last time. It was cut off a little bit to the left. Fix that this time around. So the dupes are starting off putting in some gas masks. We're going to have filtration process here for oxygen and push oxygen in there. And then I'm going to send the dupes over here. They're allowed to go for the time being. But we're starting insulation, creating these insulated tiles. That's primarily what I'm going to be using to protect the base from the extreme cold that's underneath them right now, so we don't freeze over. Over on this base, we're doing the first incubation. Wrangle's in this room, the only dupe that's allowed here. All the other dupes, so let me just re-add them. None of them is allowed in here but Wrangle. Everyone else is dropping off eggs. And Wrangle, during the day or cycle, it's going to go from egg to egg, reapplying the lullaby effect to each one in turn so that they'll hatch quicker. So that I can ultimately get more hatches in stables. Right now, I've got, 7 here, 2 here, 9 in total. This is our 13th dupe, Star, who says they love being in space. Well, don't worry, we'll get there soon enough, Star. Tiny bit of automation on the top of each of these bases, looking for hydrogen, putting that through a filter. Doing that the same over here, just to ensure that these guys are only taking in hydrogen and not breaking our hydrogen generators, which are doing a great job of providing power. Wrangle is going back towards the incubator. This time I've selected every egg that doesn't have the lullaby effect. We're going to move it over one tile and we'll apply the lullaby effect on each of those eggs. Up to 14 eggs right now. First hatchling has been born, thanks to the incubator. With these gas masks, it's making it easy to go into this low oxygen area and do some of the insulation we want to do. So we've started down here and we've got insulated tiles. And this is going to go from this piece of abyssalites all the way down to the one that's over here. Either in vacuum tiles or insulated tiles. Water is getting dangerously low, so I'm going to push this tile up and put a pump down here and get that polluted water to go through this water sieve to provide the water we need for this base as soon as this runs out, which is going to be pretty soon. Meet Rocket. This is our 14th dupe, joining the main base to continue some construction going on here. Let's have a quick look at insulation. We've made our way almost all the way around. I see some chlorine or bleach stone, so I'm going to store that in this bin at high priority just so it doesn't waste away. We've got lots of these hatchlings born, waiting for them to become adults. Gonna automatically wrangle them over here. Make that a high priority task. Nice thing is I set this up so that any of the dupes can do this, at least the ones that have the ability to wrangle. Not just, well, wrangle, that's the name of the dupe that's allowed in there. So insulation is going on over here also at the same time, forming another stable. The next dupe is actually not a dupe, it's a bunch of Pacus. We've got our third stable in order. Actually, no, wait a minute. This is fourth. Forget about this one. This was an easy one because I just used this water area to get 96 tiles. So now we've got all our 4 stables together. Up here, making an infinite gas storage. Going to be putting hydrogen in here. We have started the insulation project from this side of the Abyssalites, and then we'll go over and meet in the middle. Adding a second transformer to our base, gonna have essentially a north and a south circuit, splitting it right there, just so that we don't have outages of the various buildings that are consuming power. And we've got a stable going here. This is going to be designed for the pips. It's perfect because the pips just happen to be planting all these trees, which is really awesome. Putting some tiles next to these so the pips don't plant something that's going to choke out the trees. taken down these gas masks or disabled them. So we've got this hydrogen infinite storage area, so there's no reason hydrogen should ever build up in the base now, because if there's any excess, it's going to go in here. Starting to get these stables full. We've got 6 over here, 1 there, 5 down there, and 7 in this area. Leaving the maximum of 7. Just there's time for dupes to scoop out an egg. So these guys are always happy. Created this door with a button for the purpose of being able to cut through these 2 tiles diagonally, so this carbon dioxide, which is 50 plus kilograms, does not become rushing to my base. We have 3 pips in the pip stable, and their mood is happy. Over on this asteroid, we're going to start insulating all around us, because there's coldness everywhere, at least to the left and the right. So we'll bring up a wall like this and here and here. I already have this insulation going along this way. We'll do the same thing over here too. Gonna avoid... Actually, that's abyssalite. I guess that we can just kind of tie in from that and move on. So that's easy enough. So I don't want to go into that just yet. The dupes are putting in the last pieces of insulation via vacuum. Didn't even use a single piece of regular insulated tiles for this build. For this asteroid. For the other asteroid, I am going to I use quite a bit of it here, but it was just easier to put in vacuum tiles. Alright, so that's given us great protection from the cold. I think the next priority is water-based system. First of all, we want to make sure we've got liquid outputting from these guys. Let that guy go. I don't want this guy to overpressure either, so let's start digging down, making sure they've got lots of room for liquid to make its way through the world. Now, this polluted water is nearly gone, so definitely water-based system is the priority, at least for this asteroid. So we've got a new pump down here. Take all the liquid that's in this zone, because this little guy is going to be running out pretty soon. And we're building a path out this way. But just notice if I dig any further sand and water's going to fall down. So we're digging up and we're filling this in before we get over. What I want to do over here, on the far side of my base, in an area that's comfortable temperatures, have an infinite liquid store of water. So we've got a path now to the edge of our asteroid. We're going to put infinite liquid storage right here. So this is where water is going to go in. This is where water is going to go out. And I'm thinking to myself, this could very well be very cold liquid that's in here. And I would love to put in some radiant pipes for a cooling-based system to take in that coolness and send it to where it needs to go. But I'm out of metal, and instead of making more metal in the rock crusher, where I lose 50% of it, we're going to put a metal refinery in. Over on this side of things, putting in insulation, reforming the shape of this stable here, making sure we still get 96 tiles in the end. But I want insulation from all this cold that has been seeping down into the base. So we mopped up some brine, gonna take that up to my infinite liquid storage. Figured while this geyser is dormant, let's do some analysis. First pieces of metal being created in a metal refinery. So heavy wire going in there, and liquid going in and out using the polluted water, cold polluted water that's over here, just dumping it back out. We have the locavore achievement, so I can put stuff in planter boxes now. Beakers being teleported over to the other asteroid. Beakers enabling the teleporter input. Beakers enabling the teleporter output. And Beakers back in the homeworld with the teleportation equipment enabled. Opening up this area to encourage this bubble of oxygen to fall down. Dupes are putting in radiant pipes with a little bit of metal that's been created in the metal refinery. Also, one of the dupes is going to be letting that brine go. That's less than 2,000 grams, which is what's needed for this build. Excuse me on that. Overpressure is actually 1,000 kilograms. I was thinking the infinite gas storage. We have 4 stables full of hatches, at least 7, which is what I'm targeting. We can get after these guys and get the first lunch based on barbecue meat that's going to be cooked down here. Closing off this wall. Nice thing is we don't have to pump this into a vacuum. I've now got about 3 kilograms of brine sitting in there. And this pipe system is going to be pushing liquid in. If it's able to, it's just going to push it directly out. If this is backed up, well, it's just going to be infinitely stored at one of these locations. Analysis on this geyser says it's going to be active in 16 cycles. Dupes are carrying some blossom seeds, which we're going to be taking from this world and teleporting it over to the other world for growth. Got some insulation going in this base, in this area, this time for heat instead of cold. Just preventing that from radiating further into my base. We can be comfortable over here. Switching over the water sieve system to up here. So what we're doing is essentially draining this guy out. This guy can be destroyed, being replaced with these two. So we're pushing in polluted water, cleaning that out, pushing it in here, seeing this line has become backed up as expected. Excessive water is being dropped off here, and the brine is going to keep that from being overpressured. So with this process starting, time to direct our attention to another water-based problem, and that is food poisoning accumulating in this polluted water. We're going to start to treat that so we can actually, bring that in for use in the base safely. Teleporting some fertilizer from this world because over here we've got a farm and we're going to be growing some bristle blossom so we don't rely on dirt and water so much. This is where I'm going to be treating food poisoning. What I want to do is create a vacuum and then we're going to be pushing in chlorine. Excited to be bringing in some Joya seeds. They're going to be nice for when I set up a Great Hall in a really cold environment in the future. Going to be going out in space for the first time very soon. Making sure we have some gas masks ready before that happens. We've achieved a vacuum in here, so now it's time to direct some chlorine, which we have a bit here. And that's pretty much all we really need. So we can turn this guy off. We are just finishing the installation process. Pretty much goes all the way to this piece of abyssite to over here. And the last few pieces will be in very soon. Saving all this coldness up here for a future project of sleet wheat and preventing this area from freezing over. Notice a little bit of strain in my circuits, so we put in another transformer. This one's going to be servicing the middle area of the base around this, where I've got a lot of the water production, leaving this one dedicated towards the research station as well as future development up here. Well, we'll be putting in a telescope. Sending polluted water with food poisoning into this treatment facility. It's going to be going in here. Clocks are going to ensure that it's held in here long enough for all the food poisoning to be destroyed, and then we will get just regular polluted water out. That could be combined with this, treated, and sent and stored here for use later on. We made it to cycle 50. Just look at a few of the highlights of what we've done. So we've added insulation in this warm area, but tons of insulation in the cold area around the base. So that's just preventing the base from essentially turning away from green. So we want everything comfortable for the dupes and the machinery that's around here. The other thing is we've got various water systems. So we're essentially directly taking liquid from this guy here, cool slush geyser, treating it and sending that over here. If water's needed, it's going to go through here. Otherwise, we're packing it away in this infinite liquid storage thanks to these airflow tiles that are around here. And then the other bit is we're actually treating polluted water. Right now this is polluted water with food poisoning. after it's sitting in this tank, gets to this tank, it's going to have all that food poisoning removed and just put into the general system. That essentially means that any of the polluted water, or just regular water that we put into any of these machines, we're going to get all that liquid back. Over on this base, we also have insulation, largely with insulated tiles. That's just preventing this coldness from going down into the sides of our base, keeping everything at a comfortable temperature. Well, comfortable, it's at least keeping it from continuing to freeze, at least. So we've got that. We've also created our first barbecue meat, working towards the carnivore achievements. We're going to be progressing on that for the next 50 cycles. And we've got all the hatches filled up in these stables. 7 in each of these rooms is what I've asked for. Probably next, we're going to want a storage place for food, deep freezer, so all the barbecue meat that we cook will never go bad. Most likely that's going to be top priority. Over on this asteroid, some meteorites are going on, but we'll want to put in a telescope and start advancing towards space and looking out in this world and finding what is there other than these 2 asteroids. Well, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully I will see you in the next episode where we'll continue on and seeing what we can do for this base. Till then.